Welcome back to another episode of Tyni Talks. Today we got Jodi in the house today. Jodi, thank you for coming. I loved working with you last time. That was super fun.
That was fun.
Like, you taught me a lot,
Really?
you know?
I
Yeah,
love
you
that.
did. And like just like putting the whole storyboard and everything together, that was great. But I know we missed you last time on our podcast. We got you here today. So today's topic is, you ready for it?
Ooh, I don't know. No preparation? Dang, girl.
All right. So what hardships do you face while adulting? Because, you know, everybody in this room is clearly an adult, but I'm sure everybody reminisces sometimes like, hey, you know, when I was younger, the life was like this, life was like that. But being an adult, what are some things that it's just kind of like, ugh?
Yeah, I mean, bills
Okay.
suck. Relationships suck. Learning how to communicate your feelings suck. You know, like I feel like those are all hardships, but like they're good things because it teaches us how to evolve. It teaches us how to be like, hey, I like that, I don't like that, or like, hey, sneaky link, I know you was just ignoring me, but like girls need love too. You know, there's so much I'm learning about just like speaking up and like breaking societal norms, like talking to my mom, like, hey, ma'am, that hurt my feelings. You know, I would say for sure, like communicating your adult feelings. Because as a child, what do? You just like scream and cry. You can't do that. People want to look at you sideways.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, and there's some people that just like don't know how to like emotionally mature up.
Yeah.
See, people talk a lot of about like paying bills and stuff, but I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like the way I was brought up. So I grew up in a domestically abusive household. I grew up somebody was like always gonna say something in my household to me. So it was like, oh, you don't want to do what's told, you can get out from here.
Oh my
you know.
gosh, same.
And it was kind of like, damn right knowing that I can't leave the house until I get married, you know, damn right knowing that sort of stuff. But then I was like, I'm gonna leave, because if y'all are controlling me with, oh well, I don't pay any bills, or oh, I don't do this, and it would be as simple as the way I wanted to do my hair, the way I wanted to do my makeup, like stuff like that. Because like, you know, I'm Muslim.
This is my house.
Yeah.
These are my rules. I feel you on that. I'm Jamaican.
Yeah.
So it's like,
oh yeah,
when you said that, I already was like, my mom has threatened like before, like to take the door off my room. Like, no, I got mine taken off. Right. And again, why? So I think it's very relevant. Like, those are all moments where we were punished for speaking up. The same thing with bills. Yeah. Like, you don't pay the bills, but like, I exist here. Like, you know, I'm existing here. Like, can you teach me how to contribute where you're not throwing that in my face as a child? Like, just because I want to do my makeup this way, I have to get out, you know? So I understand too, like our parents back then, they were also navigating how to be an adult and how to communicate and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's what I think. And so to me, it's like paying bills is like definitely like a blessing, because when I tell you I couldn't choose anything in my life, like it was just like, damn, because the way I honestly grew up, you know, I do understand some things now because my parents were raised in Chicago.
Okay.
But, you know, they raised me in Pakistan and Canada. So like things are different, you know, but they had the Chicago mindset with every single thing. People from Chicago, we think different, we act different. Because when I went and I lived there, oh my God, I kind of understood almost everything because of the way things are there. But the way my life went was, I'll wake up in the morning, you know, my mom would cook me some breakfast, you know, my dad would get me ready for school, take me to school. I was the only child for 13 years.
Okay.
Right when I got back from school, well, they would bring me home for lunch times as well. I wasn't in school for lunch until I got like pretty old, near my teen years actually, when it became almost impossible for them. But they kept me at home because they were like, you know, it's our kid.
Interesting.
And then afterwards, I would come home from school. After I came home from school, I'd be at my home for like an hour and a half. Then it's time for me to go to Islamic school, and I go to Islamic school till the sun goes down, and then I come home and, you know, maybe eat a little bit, wash up, and I go to sleep. And that's what my life primarily was.
So it was like very structured from
it was very, very like structured. That way they always like kept me in the house busy around my parents, but it's like I couldn't really like find who I was and my self-expression. But another thing about that was I always knew who I was as a person.
Okay, deep.
I didn't wake up on my 18th birthday and was like, oh, I'm 18.
Right.
No, I knew who I was. Like, I knew what I wanted to be since I was a kid. I don't know. I guess I was blessed with that because...
You know why? I think it's our backgrounds. Because I've heard when I moved to America, I heard that like, oh, you have a different perspective on life. You have this, that. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I grew up in like a strict household. Like, I couldn't date. I couldn't even like in high school, college, I couldn't date. I had to be home at a certain time. And so I feel like it's kind of the opposite. Like, some people might crash out, but you're very successful. You live in a beautiful apartment. You have a beautiful brand. You have so many different like people that you pour into and all of that. I can say the same thing for myself. Like, we actually use that structure in our lives to like be very successful at a very young age. So I do see the beauty in that, but I also agree, like, I do look at my bills like, thank you for this light bill because I've been without light. I used to live in poverty.
Oh my God. I hated those days in Pakistan. I hated those days. Yeah, oh my God. You try to get some water from the tap. That shit is running, bro.
Or a hurricane.
Jeez. Like,
real talk. People like
the lights don't turn on for 24 hours. Jeez.
Or
I never want to do that shit again.
Pick your fruit, like pick your food off of a tree. Like, a lot of people don't know that about me. Like, they see my brand now or they're going to be, oh, that black girl, she talks white. I'm like, black people don't do that to y'all, first and foremost, because go travel. Because no one's saying that about Halle Berry. No one's saying that about like anyone else. There's black people in England. There's black people all over the world. So that was something else I had to like overcome, of just like, don't let anyone, even your own race or another race, like rob you of that culture. Because when you said your parents took you home for school, like, I was that kid with stinky lunch. Like, I love my little curry chicken and my rice and my ackee and saltfish and all of that. But it was just like learning how to embrace your culture and learning how to not like dim your light. Like how you said you always knew who you were. I feel like me too. I think I really was just like, I'm going to be me. I don't want to be anyone else, you know, because so many people were. I don't know if you face bullying. I faced bullying. Did you face bullying?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of it until I grew up in high school. And then by the time I was in Pakistan, man, everybody was scared of me because, I was fighting. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was fighting. Especially like men, because I was just as, men in Pakistan, they're like this big, bro. Like, I could stomp on them.
Not this big.
I could stomp on them, man. So it's just like, I was definitely like, I was fighting, but I did have a valid reason because I wasn't the only one fighting. My parents were, like, they had valid reasons. Like, this dude was like making licking faces at me and my mom, and the moment my mom saw he did it to me, my mom just lost her cool. Like, she was over here trying to pay the police to cut his off and everything. Oh, no, we like that for real. We like that for real, especially when people be like, oh, you joke about cutting dick. No, I'm for real. Factual. I'm for real because I bit my ex's before too, and we had to go to the hospital. That was hilarious. No, we for real. I'm Pakistani. I don't play that shit.
It's giving. Do we need therapy, sis?
This is normal. Like, the Americans is soft. Like, I mean, it was a little bit under the shaft. I have a video. It was hilarious, man. It just gave him like a bump. Honestly, it didn't even do too much. Honestly, it wasn't that bad.
Not a clean cut.
Nah, it just gave him like a little like mark in it and like a bump that it turned into.
You think he still remembers you?
My ex-fiance? Well, I was engaged. Yeah, he deserved it. Okay. But like, this shit is normal. I just feel like Americans are soft.
Americans are soft.
They are very, very soft.
Like, when I say I lived in a hut, I lived in a hut. Like Jungle Book. You know what I mean? Like, people don't get
I know what you're talking about.
Right. They don't get it.
Like not having the,
like, did this.
running water, electricity.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when we got our washing machine that was like, it was like a manual washing machine, like those two. But like, even, just being adults, I feel like it's harder to even, the biggest struggle that I face as an adult, it's not bills. I'm very thankful for that. My house, the running water, everything that I have. I think it's like probably fitting in.
Yeah, that's probably a better answer, I should say, because I have all my bills on autopilot. It's not a problem. It's just like, man, like, can I live? Like, I have to pay to drive my car. I have to pay to, like, you know what I mean? Pay to exist. I have to pay to get an education. So let me retract it, because it's not the hardest thing, but you're so right. It definitely is fitting in.
For me, it's making friends, man.
Yeah.
It's also weirder here down south, because back in Chicago, somebody don't like you, they don't like you, man. There's no need to sugarcoat that shit. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
But over here, it's like somebody gonna be smiling in your face this whole time.
That's so true.
They gonna do some slick shit when you don't even expect it. And I feel like it's like majority of people down south.
No one's safe. Yeah. They say Dallas is clicky, and I've always been like, look, you just have to find your people in Dallas. Like, figure out the vibe that you want. And I do believe like your vibe attracts your tribe. Yeah. But it definitely is, especially like my cultural background. There's certain things that like people will be like, like an old reference from a movie, and I was like, dog, the first movie I saw in America was Lion King. Like,
and then they make fun of you for not knowing this shit. I get that.
Right. I'm like, sorry, I was literally playing in the ocean, like being real life Little Mermaid.
People
so I don't know.
make Family Guy jokes in America, and I've never watched Family Guy a day in my life.
I love Family Guy.
I think I seen a clip, and I was like, this is the type of shit they allow like on public television in America. PBS, like, what's wrong with them?
Yeah, it's bad. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy. I'm probably about to date myself. I could watch Rugrats. Like, Hey Arnold was questionable. So I feel you. Like, I was not allowed to really watch like anything crude. Like, I couldn't even say the word fart growing up. Like, crazy. Like, my mom, I couldn't wear I'm wearing sweatpants now. I left the house in sweatpants. My mom would roll if she saw this right now. Like, I don't know. Her rules are strict, so I'm
there's no way my parents would let me leave the house. Look, what I'm wearing right now, I'm just like, listen, man, I'm glad I paid them bills, because I remember I was 18 and after I had made my first social media check, I remember I had like bought clothes, you know, online from Shein, and like they were like long dresses that showed a little bit of skin but not too much, you know. Yeah, my parents busted my room. They saw me trying on clothes and they took my door off.
Oh my god,
that was hilarious.
Tell me why. Do you remember Pussycat Dolls?
No.
Okay. She said no.
No.
I think it
was
like
I'm half your age.
Okay. It's like pre-Beyonce.
Yeah.
Like anyone here? Okay, I know this. We got a little live audience. So when back in my day, there's LimeWire, and so I was getting dolls like off of LimeWire, which is like a way for you to get free music before Spotify, all this stuff. And I only wrote the first part on a sheet of paper.
Oh.
My mom was livid. I was like, I swear, I don't even know what that word means. Like, she threw my Discmans away. I had a little computer. She threw the computer away. She didn't take my door, but she threw everything away. She's like, I don't know what you're listening to. I swear they're just girls talking about, I don't even remember one of their songs. But it was just like a girl group. It was like three girls that were just like dancing, having fun. She did not like that name.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember trying to, like, around the time I was 18, because I have been like
age, by the way, not the shade, girl. Chill. It's like a 7-year difference. Relax.
But like, I mean, okay, look. So there was this time when I was 18, you know, and I remember I had just turned 18, but before that, I had been running away. Okay, I had been running away since I was like 14. There was CPS involved and everything. I had been running away, but by the time I was in America, my parents, you know, so I wasn't allowed to have no Wi-Fi. So like I had gotten like this phone that I had bought off my own business, you know, and even on that, I wasn't allowed to have Wi-Fi. So I remember like I would poke my head out the window, because this friend I had met online, she gave me a Xfinity hotspot, and I would like use it like that, you know.
Make some coins, girl.
Yeah, you know, it definitely was very, very difficult. But a lot of things that my parents did say, a lot of them like does ring in my head now. Like, oh, you know, maybe they were right about certain things, you know. Because then I look around, I was like, damn, I really could have got sucked into this because the amount of pressure that I had on my shoulders while coming here, I really could have been an addict. I really could have been an alcoholic. I really could have been smoking like weed every single freaking day to the point where I went broke, you know. That's how bad it would have been for me. But luckily I didn't. But you know, I don't think people understand like a lot of the things that, you know, you go through in third world countries.
Yeah, as an immigrant,
I've seen those.
In general.
I've seen those days, you know. I might be a citizen, but I was raised somewhere else, you know.
Yep, people can't take that from you, because even like when the military gave me my citizenship, but it was like I had a green card for the longest time, so I was a residential alien. So it's like I didn't have a lot of those rights. Like I was way young, so like I wasn't even worried about voting, but like if I was, it was like my mom couldn't vote, you know, just like certain things like we couldn't do. And it's just like, there's so much that people don't understand. And you know, there's jokes. I know like we did a skit where we were just like all throwing kind of like funny racial slurs a little bit, which I'm not saying it's like funny, but it's like humorous, because those are things that were probably either said to us at one point, and now we're putting it in the content. And like, you know, it's a little funny, but like I literally remember someone calling me a slave in high school. The whole football team, dog. Like my grandma went to pick me up. I went outside, and Brad, if you're watching this, I remember you, like stood at the front and was like, "Hey, slave, go back to where you came from." And I was like, "Jamaica?" Because everyone thought I came from Africa. And I was like, "Get your whole life. Get your whole life. Why do you think I come from Africa? No shade. We love a good African, but like, so you just think all people that look like me come from Africa? Got it.
Exactly.
Please go explore the world. Please, 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 please. So it's just little stuff like that that's like imprinted on my brain as a child that I like now can navigate as an adult. And so I love to check people because it's like you're not going to still have that toxic narrative of who I am. You're not going to comment on how I talk without knowing where I came from.
Right.
You're not going to look at what I have right now because I worked my ass off for this without knowing what I didn't have.
Exactly.
Right? Have you ever lived in a hut? Have you ever eaten rice from a pot? Have you ever had to climb a coconut tree to get a meal? Have you ever been hungry? Has your whole home ever been torn up by a freaking hurricane or an earthquake? Right? So it's just like people love that, like, oh, I'm from the hood, and I don't take that from anyone, but I'm like, baby, I had a different kind of struggle. You can't take that from me. I'm not going to take that from you. You know what I mean?
It's funny because they talking about the hoods in America.
Baby,
they wouldn't last a day in our country.
In a real hood. Like, yes. Like concentration camp style. You know what I mean?
Talking about like no shoes on your feet. Nothing. Yeah, like in the damn dirt. You know?
In the hood, you got salami and white.
Yeah, like in the damn dirt. You know?
In the hood, you got salami and white bread. I'm sorry, you have food. You know, like, not to be insensitive, but it's just like
you got food there.
Two can play this game. If you want to be insensitive about like what I've been through, I promise you haven't seen poverty until you leave America.
Yeah, honestly, you know I mean? That and I tell people that, and they try to justify it with multiple things, and I'm just like, okay,
go ahead, have that struggle. I'm an American now, and I'm not trying to, subscribe to that struggle. Does anyone ever give you like about like just you take care of yourself? Yeah, you know what I mean. Does anyone? Yeah,
exactly. I get about that all the time. You know, my parents actually hid that from everybody for years. They just came out about it. Like, and I'm going on 4 years being independent, you know? I've always had my own since I was 18 because I done left. The moment I landed in America, I was like, I got to one up on everybody in this house because I'm the only citizen. And nobody could beat on me anymore. Nobody could do anything because, man,
that independence hits different.
I'm calling nice on everybody in my house. I'm calling nice, bro. Like, they ain't supposed to be here, you know, so.
Not you. Stop. I would have done that in your own family. Oh my god.
No, I would always make jokes like that too, because like I remember trying to run away to the military when I was 18 because I meant it. Like I'm talking about, I went to all the branches and I got disqualified.
Oh my god.
I went to all the branches.
Really?
And I got disqualified.
Why?
Because I had this little tattoo that I did when I was 15.
That's beautiful. That's some good work right there.
I did that by myself.
Oh my gosh, that's better than a jail tat. That was good.
But nah, like that's kind of like the that people be like, you know, they assume they're like, oh well, has your family given this? You know, I got it on my own. Talk to your parents. I talk to my parents now, and we cool now because I guess my mom took therapy and she apologized, you know, for all the abuse that I did.
That's beautiful.
You know,
my mom recently just apologized for her toxic ways, and we're having a beautiful conversation because I'm like, they really raised us and gaslit us. Like I was gaslit AF, and I didn't realize that till I went to therapy and was just like, huh. That's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like like a lot of that did affect our house. Our household affected the way that we are now because we just don't do complainers either. I love
that. I think that's why we like connected very easily. We both are like no BS, like straight, because it's just like we've seen the other side of it and the directness. Like I like to be with people I can build with and grow with. Like I also don't think that I'm perfect. I don't put myself on a pedestal. So you want to be around people who like aren't going to be haters, who I think there's a way for you to explain things that you need from people, not in a way to use them, but to like grow together. Yeah. And I love that we weren't taught that because it's almost like created this beautiful journey where we could evolve into that to have to just do better. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I think you're right. But anyways, guys, that's it for Tyni Talks today. Thank you guys for joining us. And me and Jodi will be back on another episode because I'm sure you guys are going to have more comments and concerns about our lives. All right?
Concerns. Leave it in the comments.
Bye, guys.